I mean, obviously, the main difference between writing stuff for myself or Image Comics and Marvel Comics is that there are more hands involved. But I really like it because it's completely different. Where at Image Comics, it's sort of like you do you, and the magic that happens there is magical. And then at Marvel, you actually get sort of an editorial staff, and you get to work with people who love comic books just as much as you do. So you end up exercising different parts of your brain, which is the again, it's like I didn't say it for the first time. I don't know why I said it again, but um, it's cool. It's cool to like have sort of extra sets of eyes on the project. I I I do I do agree that comics can be political. My favorite version of when something sort of is inherently political or has some transgressive qualities about it. I think I think with stories it's way more subtle, and it kind of ends up bleeding into like uh, the collective unconscious, right? Is that right? Or subconscious? Anyway, subconscious. um, and and I do think that there is this quality and this nature about it that is meant to get people to think in a different way, but because at the forefront it's about good story, it's getting into homes and it's getting into brains in a way different manner than someone just saying like, hey, like left is right, right is suicide or something like that. Like there's a lot more wiggle room for interpretation, and I think that's the best quality about comics. I guess I just like a good challenge. My mom is Muslim and my dad is Christian, so I don't actually have like, and my dad was never around, so I really have no firsthand experience with like Catholicism and having Catholic parents. But I have so many friends who are in so many ways Bobby Drake in the sense that they like grew up in Long Island with either Irish Catholic or Roman Catholic parents, and because I have nothing to say, I have no judgment about that. Besides, obviously, I think people who are Irish Catholic and Roman Catholic are a little, they're a little tightly wound when it comes to sexuality. That's like, I can say that confidently. But it just felt like I had to explore it because it's going to speak so much to him having to talk to these figures. And instead, I just like I not instead I just approached it with love and compassion, and I tried to offset whatever conservative nature they might have with far more conservative versions of Catholicism. Like, hey, thanks purifiers for being a very easy metaphor. Um, but yeah, I have no ill will. Wanted to I wanted to let people see that side, and people who have that in their lives, I wanted them to see it on paper and not feel ostracized by it. Um, so that yeah, again, it's like, why did I like I can't speak to any of this, but I have a lot of friends who can help me speak to it, and can and the relatability too, because like Islam is also not very like, hey, like being gay is okay. So that's where I can take myself and put it into those stories in that specific beat. I just was no, I never thought of the dating. Like I never thought of the aspect of going on a date with the superheroes. I was just like, when will they sort through their crap and actually get to be together, and because I'm thinking like Gambit and Rogue, and it's like, oh well, what do they do, how do they figure it out, how do they sort it out? But I never thought, oh, like what restaurant are they going to go to? And that's been the really fun thing with Iceman, is the world's his oyster, but not necessarily. Like it's hard for superheroes to date. They can't. I don't know. They can't. Get on websites and open Tinder the same way everyone else can, in my theory. So it's gonna be fun watching Bobby uh, find his way. And I can't share too much, but it's yeah, he's gonna try things and he's gonna take his time, and that's the best part. Is it's a different kind of dating narrative than I think people have seen in comics. Maybe not. I don't know. I haven't read them all, but I like, yeah, like a little bit. I'm a little bit worried, but I don't. I can't stress about it because at the end of the day, all I'm doing is my best. So I think because Bobby hasn't had his own sort of like saga or hero myth or iconic story the way some of the other X-Men have had, it's I think people are just excited to see what happens. And I'm not here to change the status quo again, like I think that there's already so much to play with just in the subject of the fact that, like, he is now starting to come to terms with this part of his identity. And yeah, I think because I'm just really giving him the page count to actually explore who he is as a hero and a human being, fans just seem open-minded because they just want that. They just want Bobby to actually level up and shine, and that's what I want for him too. So I think we have the same agenda, and hopefully they won't get mad at me by the end of this first arc. I, so because when I'm not just like writing comics at Marvel, I like to draw comics too, and it's usually like I do judge books by their cover, and I know that that's bad, but I will buy a book if it just has a captivating cover image and there's something striking or new about the art. Um, I make I'm sorry, I'm like all distracted. Um, yeah, I try not to fall into any categories of taste when it comes to comics because you just never know what surprises you're gonna find. Even if you like think about like, okay, so it's like I'm reading Marvel and DC, but then it's like obviously I love Image Comics, and then I grew up reading like Fantagraphics and Slave Labor and Drawn and Quarterly. I'm just gonna keep going, but um, I wish I had a better example. I wish I had a specific example besides just sort of if there's a cool image on the front, they get my money. Maybe I'll come back to that and have a better example later. I don't know. If I can be a part of the process, I'd love to. I always would love to, because I love this medium so much, and I also feel like I have a lot of experience that I can speak to in terms of making comics better or making them better products in a lot of ways. So yeah, with Iceman specifically, there's a lot of dialogue going on between Kevin Wada, the editors, and now like myself. They ask for feedback, but at the end of the day, you don't you don't need to give Kevin too much direction. He's pretty fantastic and has a great sense of what makes a beautiful, striking image. But yeah, I do like to be hands-on. I like to be hands-on about everything, even like the lettering. I feel so bad. Anyone who sees my scripts, it's like I give little cues and notes to the colorist, to the letterer, to the artist. Never the inker. Use these line weights. Use a brush. But it's fun. Yeah, I love to be hands-on about it because I do want to sort of make like the ideal book at all times. I'm always a Carrie. I'm always a Carrie. Look at these sandals. Hold on. Wearing these to FlameCon. But I don't think I'm as self-involved as she still is. Like even in Sex and the City 2, she still sort of can't get outside of herself. And I hope that, I've evolved a little bit. Mmm. I have so many favorite episodes of Sex and the City. That's so unfair. It's like, well, can we like? It's like I love this episode for the clothes. I love that episode for the drama. I love that episode for the humor. Um, An episode I always love watching, and I wish I knew the name, is the episode after Burger dumps her on a post-it, and I just love all the storylines in that episode, and just especially when she's like high and she's in the cop car and she sticks the post-it on the window and the cop is giving her the ticket, and he's just like, "I'm sorry, I can't. Don't hate me." Um, and it also has one of my favorite throwaway lines, which is Carrie saying like, "They're not strangers. They're new friends with pot." So that's the one. I just don't know the name. That's season 5, right? That's season 6. Yeah. Yeah. You got this. Yeah, because season 5, she's preggo and hiding it the whole time. So thank you very much. The post-it always sticks twice. That's the one. The kind of superhero I would turn Carrie Bradshaw into. I would. I feel like I would make her an Inhuman or something. I wouldn't make her a mutant because she doesn't need that much metaphor. Um, and I think there's something like she'd be a little otherworldly, you know. And that's how I feel about the Inhumans. Even though they've become so much more grounded with New York and Earth proper or whatever, they are just of another nature, and I would see that with her. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm thinking Medusa and the hair, and like maybe it's like, oh, because Inhumans can do like statement hair. I don't know. Oh man, I don't want. I don't. I think she wasn't. I don't think. Well, anti-hero. Let's say anti-hero because I don't think Carrie was intentionally malicious. I just think she was sorting some stuff out on Aiden's watch, and the poor guy, like you said, he kind of got like walked all over. I'd say she's an anti-hero. That's a better way of putting it. Like she doesn't think she's a bad guy, but unfortunately, her actions have consequences that hurt other people. Oh, I can just tell you the name. The Dior Extreme shoes that she wore 3 different times in the first Sex and the City movie. They're the gladiator sandals. Or no, they have heels, but oh my god, they're beautiful. Um, I don't know why I'm going to reference the movies so many times. I also love the gold sparkly Louboutins at the beginning of Sex and the City 2. Those were amazing. Um, and what's another good pair of shoes? Because I don't like, I thought like Manolo Blahniks in the 90s were so of a time and they're so dated now. Like when you see them, you're like, she paid 400 for those? So I'm going to stick to those two. Yeah.